Warning: All Things Crime is a true crime production that may contain violent or disturbing material. Viewer or listener discretion is advised. And it is amazing that the evil of the Taliban has overwhelmed. The Afghani government has basically crumbled. The military over there has crumbled. And what it has done, it has allowed this evil to descend on the country of Afghanistan, even the capital city of Kabul. Right now, as we speak, there are people that are scrambling at the airport there in Kabul, if I'm pronouncing that right, scrambling. It is insane, some of the video that's coming out of there. You have to understand the mentality of these people. What would make you so scared that you would try to hold on to an aircraft that's taking off? Now, I understand these people aren't the best educated in the world, so they probably don't really understand the aerodynamics of it. But regardless of that, what would make you hold on to a large machine that is taking off and try to hold on long enough to make it to wherever that aircraft was going? The evil that they must have been running from, and this has to be just a basic human emotion, where they knew that life would be so miserable under the Taliban that it was worth risking that. Hey guys, it's Jared, your host of All Things Crime, president of MBAC Systems, coming at you with another episode, and I'm excited to be here. I'll tell you, I have reached my limit. Definitely want to hear your feedback on this one, because as a veteran over the last few days, honestly, I have seen more just absolutely, how do you even describe this? Well, first of all, I'm not an Afghanistan veteran. I didn't serve in Afghanistan, but I know lots of guys that have. And what has happened in Afghanistan over the last few days, where the carnage and the policies that we have seen, the results of the policies of this current administration, and this isn't political. This is strictly on looking at what is actually going on. I have to also preface this as a veteran and knowing the carnage that has happened over there, the men and women that have served over there, that have bled and sweat, and the effort that they have put in order to secure that country and to give the Afghanis a chance at life and a chance at freedom and a chance at not being ruled by a government like the Taliban. We've served 20 years, and we've been over there, spent trillions of dollars. I am not opposed at all of bailing on that. If they haven't learned by now how to govern themselves and how to protect themselves, and that there's a better way out there, then I'm not sure they ever will. But how we have basically bailed over there, when that's the thing that really bothers me, and that's kind of what has spurred me to grab the microphone and talk to you guys today. So I also want to address not only the Afghanistan thing, but the second level. This is part of my series, I guess you could call it, the evil, the beast, and the buffet. And this is the second iteration of it. And this is also the second level of evil that we're going to address today. And it all kind of ties together, because what we're seeing over in Afghanistan. But before I get into that, I have to let everybody know that we hit, just a few days ago, we hit 5,000 downloads on the new platform that we put our podcast on. And so in total, that would make around 6,000. But as we're tracking it right now, we're at 5,000 downloads. So I have to send out a huge thank you to all of you that have subscribed and all of you that have shared episodes and downloaded and listened to our podcast and on the video cast on YouTube. And I can't tell you thanks enough for being loyal listeners. And we really appreciate it. And if you are not yet subscribed, take the time right now, hit that, smash that subscribe button, and then you won't miss an episode, and we can continue this journey together. And again, thank you so much for being loyal listeners and for helping us hit this first benchmark. So I know there's many more to come. All right, so let's move on and get back to Afghanistan. How we are basically bailing out of there, we have left so many people at the mercy of this second level of evil. And frankly, the people in the Taliban, these men that run this organization, and it is nothing short of a terrorist organization. And these guys are ruthless. You know, I think many of us and many of you that may be listening or watching right now, you may not have remembered what it was like. Some of the stories that we were hearing before 9/11 in 2001, when the World Trade Center was attacked with the aircraft. We're coming up on that. We're just a couple of weeks away from the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And shortly after 9/11, when we first went into Afghanistan and we started hearing a lot of the stories, I mean, we knew what was going on in Afghanistan, but it wasn't, prior to 9/11, but it wasn't really broadcast that much. It wasn't on the news all that much, but the brutality of it was absolutely incredible. And many people have documented this, which is kind of as a side note. If you look at the people that are trying to erase history, and this goes all the way back to statues of people in the Civil War, they are trying to erase history because in many ways they want to reenact it, and not necessarily the violence, but the control. And in many ways, control is a second level of evil because you are taking away people's freedom. So if you remember the episode that we did not long ago, and I talked about the first level of evil. So the first level is kind of this toddler mentality that many people never really grow out of. And that is that somebody has something that I want, and I'm going to just go take it. And I have the right to do that for whatever reason. They feel entitled to it, or they just want it. And that's just this carnal, basic human desire to have it. And greed, I think, is mostly the problem. But it's really a toddler mentality. And anybody that feels entitled to somebody else's stuff, you are a toddler, and you need to get over it, because that's just not how civilized society works. But the second level of evil isn't taking somebody's stuff. Stuff can be replaced. People's freedom, and especially people's especially for women, but even younger boys, their virtue cannot be replaced. It can't be given back. Back to Afghanistan, that is one of the primary problems that's happening. You are seeing already, we've been basically pulling out of Afghanistan for 5 weeks now, less than that. The process kind of started earlier than that, but the real moving out, and it was about 5 weeks ago that President Biden basically said that the Afghani government was stable, that the Afghani military was 300,000 strong. We had equipped them with all of the U.S. equipment. So these guys had the latest and greatest in equipment, including multi-million-dollar drones and ammunition and, big time ammunition, aircraft, Black Hawk helicopters, you name it. They have it, had it, keyword being had it. And it is amazing that the evil of the Taliban has overwhelmed. The Afghani government has basically crumbled. The military over there has crumbled. And what it has done, it has allowed this evil to descend on the country of Afghanistan, even the capital city of Kabul. Right now, as we speak, there are people that are scrambling at the airport there in Kabul, if I'm pronouncing that right, scrambling it is insane, some of the video that's coming out of there. I think it was yesterday, I saw there were people trying to hold on to the outer shell, the outside of a C-17 aircraft as it's taking off. They're trying to hold on to it. And they made it, I don't know, it looked like they made it up to about 1,000 feet in the air, and then they fell off. But I think most of them fell off long before that. It probably reaches, I don't know, 140, 150 miles an hour by the time it even takes off from the runway. And that's really cooking. So to be able to hold on to that, those dudes are studs. But to hold on to the outside of an aircraft to try to escape that country. And he also found out that they found human remains inside the window or inside the wheel well of this aircraft. So people were climbing up into the wheel well, and I don't know if they got crushed by the landing gear as it came up or if they froze to death. I don't know, but you have to understand the mentality of these people. What would make you so scared that you would try to hold on to an aircraft that's taking off? Now, I understand these people aren't the best educated in the world, so they probably don't really understand the aerodynamics of it. But regardless of that, what would make you hold on to a large machine that is taking off and try to hold on long enough to make it to wherever that aircraft was going? The evil that they must have been running from, and this has to be just a basic human emotion, where they knew that life would be so miserable under the Taliban that it was worth risking that. To try to actually fathom that, I don't think very many of us can, and that's one of the reasons that we're just marveling at what is going on, and we're just watching these pictures in horror. Again, back to the veterans, all the veterans that have served in Afghanistan. Many of them lost comrades. Many of them lost limbs, came back with PTSD. These guys went through hell, and gals, guys and men and women in uniform. But we also have civilians that were there. Like right now, there's the estimates are there's between 10 and 40,000 Americans. This is just Americans that are trapped in Kabul. And they can't get to the airport because the Taliban has surrounded the airport. So they can't get on the aircraft. The people that are inside the airport can't get out because the Taliban won't let them out. So I guarantee once, if there's any Afghanis there that don't actually make it out on an aircraft, the Taliban, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they just slaughtered them. And it's the level of evil that has descended on Afghanistan. And most importantly, that this administration has allowed to descend. Honestly, there's a lot of smart people in Washington, D.C. Did nobody understand that this is what was going to happen? And if they did understand it, why would they allow that to happen? I can't comprehend it. And again, as a veteran, it just sends me off into the third level of hell. So this kind of this whole scenario that's happening in Afghanistan really ties into this whole second level of evil, because again, let's go back to what it really is. It's depriving somebody of their freedom, depriving somebody of their virtue, depriving somebody of their health, such as assaulting them. The understanding or the belief or the rage, whatever, that overcomes any kind of logic, whatever, sends people into whatever mindset that they have to have, that they think that it's okay, or that they act maybe some people don't think. They just act, and they deprive people of one of those three things. You are now in the second level of evil. And I think one of the most heinous things is, again, the little children that are taken as wives, and really what they are is sex slaves. These little girls are now sex slaves to many of the Taliban men. And we've gone back to exactly where we were before 9/11, where the Taliban ruled Afghanistan way back in the 80s and 90s. Absolute, anybody that any girl or woman that tries to get educated, like learning how to read, they just kill them. They just can't allow any kind of anything other than just ignorance. They can't allow that in that country. And that is a totalitarian rule that I don't think many of us can understand. But it's frankly, the amazing thing as I'm talking about this is, honestly, that's it. We're still in, even with the evil that we know that is going on over there, we're still in the second level of evil. And we're gonna, it gets worse. So